All right, good evening. It is 7 p.m. The Board of Trustees of LaPorte Independent School District is now convened. I wish to extend a warm welcome to everyone present. Every student's success is our number one priority. As the LaPorte ISD Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, adopt policy, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and communicate the district's vision and success to the community. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. School board meetings are open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. Audience participation is limited to the patron presentation portion of the meeting. Board members may not respond to the public comment section. These meetings may be recorded, and I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking. Thank you for taking time this evening to join us and for your interest in the LaPorte Independent School District. At this time, will you please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States and Texas flag. These may be recorded, and I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking.
Forward, mark.
LPI ISD Color Guard presenting this evening on American Rifle Cadet Staff Sergeant Kaylee Fedak. On American Flag, Cadet Second Lieutenant Everardo Garcia.
Colors.
On Texas Flag, Cadet Staff Sergeant Kaylee Daughtery. And on Texas Rifle, Cadet Private Dixie Powell.
Order. Colors. Colors. Post. Ready. See.
Please join us in the pledge to the U.S. flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Will you please remain standing? The invocation this evening will be given by Trustee Danny Hanks.
Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather here in service to our students, staff, and community, may we be guided by your wisdom and compassion. May our discussions be thoughtful and our decisions be just, and our hearts be focused on the greater good of all you have entrusted to our care. Grant us clarity to lead with integrity and courage to do what is right. We ask this in your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Be seated.
Mark time. Mark.
All right.
Forward, march.
Again, a huge thank you to our LaPorte ISD High School Honor Guard. Thank you guys again. We'll now move to Section 5, Board Recognitions, Student Recognitions.
Student recognition.
Yep.
Board recognition.
I was trying to get in line with him.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This summer, our LaPorte ISD students collectively read an incredible 96,229 minutes. Among them, 2 students truly stood out for their dedication and love of reading. Tonight, we're honoring our top summer readers from the elementary and secondary levels. First, Liam James Cervantes. Liam is a 3rd grader at Bayshore Elementary. He read an impressive 6,809 minutes.
I think this is multiple years for him, is that right? That's like back-to-back, it's impressive.
Wow.
So we've got two back-to-backs because our secondary reader, top reader this summer is Tara Flowers, an 8th grader at Lomax Junior High. Tara read a remarkable 4,400 minutes.
Wow.
We're very proud to recognize these outstanding readers for their commitment and enthusiasm. Congratulations to Liam and Tara, and y'all stick around for the photos.
Picture with y'all, all right?
The principals?
Principals, come on, principals, yes, please. That's it.
Congrats again, that is an amazing accomplishment, not just one time, but two. I mean, that's phenomenal, so thank you guys. I'll turn now to item 6, public comments. The board will now hear those who wish to make comments and who have completed the return the public comment participation request. This section will be conducted in accordance with the Texas Open Meeting Act and board policy. Complaints and concerns for which other resolution channels are provided shall be directed through those channels. Mr. Vice President, do we have any speakers this evening?
Yes, sir. We have Mr. Douglas Miller of 723 South 4th Street. Come on up.
My name is Doug Miller, class of '82, and about 2 weeks ago I went to a city council meeting at the city of LaPorte. Made a suggestion saying that this could be a national year for LaPorte Bulldogs, and suggested they change Texas Street to rename it to Bulldog Avenue. And Mayor Rick Helton suggested I come send that proposal to y'all, see if we get your support, since y'all have property and stadiums right there on Texas Street. I also suggest that they have it in the budget in the future to widen and improve not only Texas Street, but G Street, because there's a lot of traffic there in the afternoon picking up kids from LaPorte Elementary. They widen it, help traffic out through there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller. All right, guys, we'll go to item 7, our administrative report. Start with our superintendent's report.
Good evening, board members. President Martin, I'm pleased to share that the positive momentum has continued into the early weeks of the 25-26 school year. The start has remained smooth, and there is already a great deal of exciting activity all across LaPorte ISD. LaPorte ISD officially opened its new Legacy Complex on August 29th, marking a major milestone in the district's history. Dozens of community members and alumni and students and staff and local officials gathered for the ribbon cutting and dedication. Later that evening, the first ever game at Bulldog Stadium, a Bulldog win over our neighbors that shall not be named tonight, was played in front of a sellout crowd. We're very proud of that. There are plenty of other fall sports that are fully underway across the district, including high school and junior high volleyball and football, water polo, cross country, and tennis. We also were very pleased to be a part of several celebrations last week. Our A and B rated campuses for the 24-25 school year, during which LaPorte High School band members and drumline and cheerleaders helped to excite the crowds of students, and a great time was had by all. I'm equally proud and excited to announce that on Friday we will officially enter the 3rd year of our innovative project launch partnership with the University of Houston Clear Lake. For the 25-26 school year, there are almost 160 young scholars who are participating in Project Launch. Also, although there has been We have been back in session for just a few weeks. We've already seen dozens of campus events sponsored by our partners in education, and many new mentors have already registered with our Helps Mentoring program, and we strongly encourage others to join that Helps Mentoring program. We are truly grateful for the continued support and enthusiasm of this community. Finally, we are looking forward to several major events this coming weekend in Porte ISD. In addition to the Bulldog Cross Country invitation, this Friday morning at Northwest Park, our Bulldogs will host Port Neches Groves on Friday night, which is being billed as one of the state's top games. On Saturday morning at 9 a.m., our robotics students will gather at Baker to begin building their projects. And from 10 to 1, we will be hosting and participating in the city's annual health and safety fair at LaPorte Junior High. On behalf of the administration, teachers, and staff, we would like to thank our Board of Trustees and the LaPorte Independent School District stakeholders for your ongoing support as we continue our legacy of excellence in the 25-26 school year. And this will conclude the superintendent's report this evening, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. We will turn now to a library update from Julie Abram, Deputy Superintendent of Academics, and Nicole Zuka, Coordinator of Instructional Resources and Library Services. Thank you, ladies.
Good evening. Good evening. President Martin, Board, Jackson. I am delighted to be here to talk to you about libraries and provide you with an update on all the wonderful things that we've had going on since last we visited about libraries back in May. We are booked for success in 2025, and I'm excited to be here to talk about some of these things. We're going to celebrate some things with you tonight. We're going to talk about some of the updates coming from legislation that have governed some of the work that we've been doing, and we're going to talk to you about the goals that are going to drive the work that we do into the next school year. But I would like to turn this over to Nikki Zuka and let her talk all about the wonderful celebrations in our libraries.
Good evening, Board, President, and Dr. Jackson. Excuse me, I'm a little nervous. Over the summer, our school librarians experienced an exciting refresh. Thanks to your support, we were able to add over 16,433 titles. With more boxes arriving this week, we had 2 more arriving in Heritage. So we are very, very excited about this. These new titles span diverse genres from adventure, biography, STEM titles, bilingual titles, ensuring that every student can find something that resonates with them and supports learning. We also prioritized high interest and requested titles that not only increase our circulation, but helps build excitement around a culture of reading. So getting more than 16,000 titles this summer was no easy, small task. This was truly a district-wide effort in scheduling, unpacking, and preparing books. Our principals, library staff, paraprofessionals, and teachers worked very hard this summer. Because of that collaboration, our libraries are stocked, ready for students at this moment. So at College Park Elementary, the bond funds made a visible and lasting difference with new furniture and new shelves that create flexible, student-centered spaces for independent reading and collaborative library learning zones. The new layout makes the library more open, inviting, and functional, giving students a space that feels welcoming. And of course, alongside new books, ensuring the shelves match the energy of the refreshed environment. Together, these updates show how the bond funds are directly impacting student learning, engagement, and access to resources in meaningful ways. I am so grateful and thankful. Without your support, this would not have been possible, and I am extremely excited for our students.
You did good.
Great job.
I'm still grateful.
Well, and I just want to thank Nikki for all her efforts. It was a Herculean effort to to make this happen, and we've worked very, very hard. So thank you for all your hard work. I don't know if you've heard, but we've had a very robust legislative session, and many of the things that came out of legislation, I know, were some things to govern how we do business in our libraries. Fortunately, some of the things that have come out were things we had already anticipated or things we'd already addressed. One of the main things with the legislation was just how we curate books and titles for our collections, and really being very conservative in what that looks like to align to our community. We had already put new processes and procedures in place with Nikki's help last year to govern that, and so there really wasn't any additional work that we needed to do with that process, so that's great. The new legislation also was intent on ensuring transparency with families with library collections, and so wanting to ensure that families had access to what was in our libraries, both in the classroom and in the library itself. Again, we worked hard last year. We revamped the library website, and we put the online catalog for family access already, so that wasn't anything else we had to do. We are going to continue to work on how we catalog the classroom libraries, and that will be an ongoing project as we work this year. And then the last thing that has been part of the library legislation is just those online resources, those online libraries collections that we can't control. And so how do we navigate that with families? How do we make sure that families know what those titles are, what access students have to that, and giving families the option to opt out of access to those titles, where in the past maybe we've always opted in. So those are some things that we're continuing to work on as well. So what's ahead this year for our library improvement efforts? We have much to celebrate, and we have much to continue to work for. The new library titles are going to continue to help us ensure growth with our reading efforts. You hear about Beanstack. We celebrate students who left to go read, and we're going to continue to push reading as it is the undercursor for all great learning. We will continue to improve the spaces in general, as Nikki talked about the redesign of CPE. One of our initiatives is to ensure that there are zones for learning in each of the libraries, and makerspace presence in every library is one of the goals that we have for this year, so we're working hard on that with our STEM program. And then expanding digital tools in the library, ensuring that there is access for students digitally, whether it's an iPad in the elementaries, research stations at the high schools, ensuring that those pieces are in place and operational and ready to go. The other things that we are working on this year are ensuring that the library lessons are integrating, so the library is partnering with our instructional team to ensure that what is happening in the classrooms, in the English language arts classrooms or social studies classrooms, is being mirrored somehow in those libraries, and so we can see a connection. Students will see connections to learning, so we're going to work on those thematically aligned displays or initiatives from the library. And then, just as Nikki mentioned, just continuing to assess the current layouts in our libraries, continuing to encourage furniture adjustments or new furniture, or redesigning how we have those spaces organized to just ensure continued visibility in those classroom spaces. Because we know that the great learning that happens in the classrooms is underscored only by what happens in those libraries, and both things hand in hand equal student success. So we're excited to just really focus on our library efforts to ensure that it's happening. So that's what's booked ahead for success for our libraries. Any questions for us on what we've got planned?
I just have a comment.
Yes.
As a former College Park cougar, I don't know if Danny feels the same way, but I remember walking in that library and everything felt so, like, the bookshelves felt super tall and big and everything, and having visited since, obviously perception's everything, right? But seeing the pictures of it and everything, just seeing like how vibrant and how bright and everything, I can't wait to see it in person.
Yes, it's pretty great.
It's really awesome. And just the openness, the idea of it being, having a flow and different things like that. I think the kids are going to really soak up that new environment.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And we have Nikki to thank. She was the spearhead behind a lot of that design and had a lot of input to that. So again, thank you to you and your team for all that you did to ensure great space.
Yeah. I'll say this, because I've been the one that's been in y'all's head for the last few years. Immediately, once the books came in, I had numerous people calling me and saying, "Oh, this is great, we're so excited." And so again, we're definitely excited. It's been a long process to get these books. But again, I commend you guys. It's awesome. I think everybody's excited about it. I just had a question on, Ms. Abrams, a while back you mentioned something about the state code, or they set a minimum level of where, like, the amount of volume we have required. Where are we at? With these 17,000 books coming in, where are we at?
I can get you specifically more information on that, but it gets us all of our campuses to a level of proficiency that we wanted to baseline. We're not fully there yet, but we're pretty darn close. So as we move forward, obviously circulations and collection development, are reliant on circulation, and that means that we not only have to budget each year for campus infusion for titles, but then we also have to ensure that anything that we remove, we replace. So there's circulation. So we're going to continue to encourage that work on the campus level to make sure that we continue to.
Thank you. Yeah, kind of the other question I had is, I know we use this through bond money. Is that going to be kind of the MO or procedure going forward, or do we kind of, as we know we have to replace books in the future, how are we envisioning funding that?
So there needs to be a local effort for the budgets for libraries to be sustainable, right? So a certain amount of money, and that's part of the TSLAC standards, that there needs to be a certain level of budgeted funding per capita on a campus to continue to keep those libraries moving. Certainly, when we look at our needs and we look at great needs in different locations, we might consider alternate funding sources like the bond or other avenues as we move forward to continue to keep them up.
The last thing again, just because it's I love y'all here and we're talking about this, is, I don't know, I was an active member of the foundation for 12 years, 13 years, something like that. And every year we got a large amount of grant requests for books. And that's a great thing. We love that they're asking for books. I just wonder, and I don't have an answer to this, I just want to plant a seed. If there's some way to be a little more efficient. A lot of times, not outside of books, but we get laptops, all these different things they want. And a lot of times it's stuff the district's already doing. Right. And I don't know, I keep thinking about, is there a better, more proficient way, like, that we can communicate between the teachers of what's coming down the pipe, I guess, before they have to go out and feel like they got to go pay for it themselves, or they got to go out and solicit grants from the Education Foundation, because then it's hard as somebody who sits on a grant committee to know, and so again, I just want to plant this seed. I don't know.
And I suspect some of those requests, and I'm not saying this happened all the time, but I suspect some of those library book requests were for the libraries in their classrooms.
Right. Yeah, most of the time.
Okay.
So again, I don't know, because I don't know how that whole system works. I know, we're limited on budget, I get on that, but if there's something that, like, we know books are coming in or something, I don't know, or maybe having somebody from the district on those committees.
So we did actually just change the process of how we're vetting the grants.
Yes.
And so the campuses, it goes to the principal, and the principals will verify with district, what is coming in, what they should, just to kind of keep us from having some of that overlap.
Yeah, the foundation has worked really hard to adopt some new software that helps with the workflow for us to be able to have an approval process that allows for the very kind of conversations that to try to prevent, because we recognize that certainly was a challenge for us. So we're hopeful that this will be a better year.
Awesome. Thank you.
Right. Thank you for your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nikki.
Our next item on administrative reports is a technology update. Sir?
All right. Good evening, board. Dr. Jackson. So we passed a bond a couple of years ago. Y'all may remember that. And a portion of that bond was technology. So I was asked to give a little bit of an update on what we've been doing with that bond, the technology bond, and what's going on in the classroom and the schools. So I'll put that together for you tonight. Our first slide here, I'm going to talk a little bit about what kind of our classic setup that we've been doing for the last 2 or 3 years in classrooms. This would be a laptop that is now district provided to the teacher. That was a little bit of a change. Port replicator, keyboard, mouse. That was a big change, sir. 27-inch monitor, a projector or smart board. There are some instances now in which we're looking at IFBs, document camera, and presentation and laser pointer stuff. This is what we're doing basically in every classroom. It's kind of our classroom standard, the minimum we try to give them. Sometimes there's a little extra, but that's kind of the minimum standard there. For the students, for grades 3 to 12, we purchase HP laptops. 3 to 12 HP laptops every year. We've continued that through 3 to 12 this year. With the younger grades, and I guess I should say that on the secondary sets, we have for high school it's take home, and for secondary Baker junior highs it's one-to-ones in the classroom. So classroom sets. So for pre-K to 2 this year, we were pretty excited that we brought in Apple iPads for the littles. We figured that the littles, they're used to the more tablet style. It's more of a point and click. It's a little easier for them to use. It's what they're using at home. And I think it's a better device to put in the hands of the littles as opposed to full laptops. We have open air charging carts for each one of them. There's a couple reasons we want the open air. I've gotten some questions about cabinet versus open air, but we like the open airs and that's what we've been going with. And we've just purchased finally new PCs for the CTE program for the Adobe and AutoCAD labs. So those will go in, they arrived I think last week and they'll go in this week or early next week.
That's great.
So this is a little more about the Apple iPads, pre-K to 2, headphones for each iPad. We wanted to make sure it was a turnkey solution. So we went ahead and bought the headphones for everything. Same carts that we use for the laptops, so that was a cost that we could reuse. Those carts are made so you can just re-outfit them for whatever you're using. And of course, impact-resistant cases. The second graders actually have a keyboard. The littles don't. The second graders, they do a little bit of testing and stuff online, so we gave them some keyboards on those. And then yeah, that's the iPads. To support all this over the years, something that we don't talk much about, and kind of the unsung hero of technology and all the things to go in to make all this work, is infrastructure improvements. And we usually don't talk about infrastructure improvements much, but they're significant and they really make the difference on supporting all these initiatives. So some of the things we've done is we've put in about 135 access points in the last year. Our goal is to have wireless access in every educational space. Not necessarily every classroom, but every educational space. We're working towards that goal. We're almost there. We're 90% there, 95% there. And then, of course, some of the equipment is a little older. We put it in years ago, so it's getting refreshed every year with new stuff that'll help to build capacity and speed and support all these online programs. We also have increased our internet bandwidth. We used to have like a 4 gig pipe, and now we're up to a 10 gig pipe. That's really there again to support online testing and online curriculum and all the learning initiatives that we have now. Our internal fiber connections, we moved from 1 gig to 10 gig. Not very exciting, but again, it helps. Our WAN connections, that's the connections between the schools and our building, right, our central building. A few years ago, we actually moved from all aerial fiber to buried fiber. I think it's 85% buried now. We used to get about 4 or 5 breaks a year, fiber breaks, and those would be a school down for a day at least, because they have to come out and repair it. The response time's a couple hours, 8 hours to repair it. We haven't had a break yet since we went to underground fiber. So we're really happy with that. I wanted to point that out. That was a great move going to buried fiber. We're replacing some of the battery backup systems in our closets, and we have power outages. And then I have a little bullet that just says data center and server upgrades. That is a very complicated and a lot of stuff going on there, but basically we've also done some data center switching. This is the central hub. This is how the computers know how to get to the internet, how they know where to go to get email and stuff like that. So we've done the data center switches upgrades. We recently upgraded our ESXi host servers, which is what are servers that actually host all the software, runs all the virtual servers we run. We recently did that to support some upgrades that we need to do on the business side. So we should be good on capacity there now for a few years. And then finally, I want to talk a little bit about cybersecurity. Cybersecurity is a topic that's pretty boring until it gets real exciting. Yeah, it is. It is what it is. But I'm proud to say that LaPorte has not had any data breaches. We've not had a single data breach. We've had some minor unreportable cyber incidents where you get we're always being scanned and pinged, and they're trying to look for a way in. We haven't had anything major. We had a little bit of disruption a couple of years ago from some attacks that were coming from outside, but there were no breaches. We've never had any data leak, and we're really proud of that. And we're really proud of that because if you recall a few years ago, 2023, the board actually generously approved a very large cybersecurity package. And I wanted you to see that we really are, it has made a difference. It really has. We've not had any major breaches, no major incidents outside of a little DOS issue. But, you know, that happens to everybody.
Do y'all run like the phishing tests with the employees?
We have in the past. We haven't done any recently.
Okay.
There's mixed best practices on that.
Yes.
Some people will argue that it oversaturates them, and some people will argue that you should do it and see. It's certainly something we have the capability of doing, and we have done in the past, and we may do it again in the future. But we haven't done any very recently.
Okay.
This slide just shows some of our kind of partners that we have for our cybersecurity stuff. Pretty big names in there: Cisco, Microsoft, SolarWinds, LineWise, K-12-6, which is an organization we belong to that is a education K-12 specific threat intelligence organization. So it's a organization that watches cybersecurity just for K-12. So we've very recently joined in. It's been very good. And that's the majority of what I have to say. Do you have any questions, or what do you want to know about any of that?
I don't have a question, but I have more of a comment.
Sure.
I want to commend your team, not just for the vision of what goes on, but all the behind the scene things that y'all do that maybe prevent problems before they ever happen. And I also want to say, I have two sister-in-laws that are teachers, and they do not have all of this in their classroom.
Okay.
And they would be thrilled to have all of this in their classroom. So we need to, no, sir. Sorry. I should have clarified. I gotta get there.
Texting people, like, what is going on?
I should have clarified. I'm trying to give you a compliment and you're getting nervous there, sorry. Anyway, they would be thrilled to have that. So I am proud that we have that, but I'm proud for the vision that goes on in your department that makes those things happen, so that we know the importance of them, the value of them, how much it costs when we're budgeting or when we're, working on bonds or whatever. Technology is always a big part of it.
Yes, ma'am, and I'm thankful that you said that, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to point out like the cybersecurity part and the infrastructure part, because that's something you don't really see.
Yes. But without that, the rest doesn't work.
Until you do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, until you do.
I'm really glad you touched on the cybersecurity thing. And in my professional work in the insurance business, we are seeing a lot of cybersecurity claims and issues. We have a client in our office right now that does almost $1 billion in revenue, and they've been shut down for 4 days.
Yes, sir.
They can't operate their emails, they can't operate their bank accounts, they can't do anything, and they are a large organization. So go ahead.
I don't want to it's not great practice to get into the details of your cybersecurity.
Correct.
But I will tell you that we're postured very well. We're postured very well for defense. We're postured very well for identification, and we're postured very well for backups.
Yeah.
Where I was going with that is that I would think I urge you to let us know if there is a better system or a better protocol or a better program that we can stay ahead of it and go. I think this board would be very, very forward-thinking in cybersecurity. And that I'd also wanted to know if our staff is doing any cybersecurity trainings. Like, is it a required thing?
They're all shaking their heads.
There's some in safe schools.
Do y'all love them? Yeah. Okay. I mean, it may be a good practice to do 2 or 3 a year. I mean, I'm sure it could help us out on something. I don't know.
I think one of the reasons I asked about the phishing thing is that I think periodic update of training is a good thing, because we constantly see things that pop up new and different. And the cybersecurity video that we have, I used it when I was still working here. So, I mean, I think there's things that can always be, like, you'll have that one thing, like, please don't click on this because it's going around, right?
Well, and it's always emerging.
Yeah.
There's always something new. They call it 0 day, 0 day exploits, and those are always new. So yeah, you're right. Cyber training is an ongoing training you have to do all the time and be conscious of.
Right.
But I'll say this, Candace can testify, I need a lot, I'm like a man-child, I need a lot of hand-holding And so I probably got 5 more issues that I need help with. But your team of people have been exceptional in terms of being patient and walking us through stuff. Anytime, not just me, it's probably all of us. But, so I just want to, say thank you publicly for that.
Awesome, thank you, sir.
Clearly you guys are doing a great job. I know you told us before, but what is the shelf life or circulation life once these tablets or these things go into distribution?
That really kind of depends. That's a hard question to answer, and it's a question people like to ask. But it's a complex formula to figure out what the shelf life is on them. But in general, for like educational use, 5 or 6 years is what you expect to get out of them.
Do we buy the Apple Care or whatever that is?
Yes. So the iPads we bought specifically, we got. I don't want to tell you a lie about the exact warranty number of years. I think it's 4, but I can get you an actual answer. And on each one of those, each one gets 2 repair replacements a year.
Okay.
So they can get pretty beat up, and Apple will keep replacing them. So.
The other thing I had is that, again, this is probably redundant, so I apologize. I'm sure you've already heard it, but the head timekeeper after the Deer Park game chased me down. He's a friend of mine, but he said the stadium's beautiful. He has all these glowing remarks about the stadium. He's like, man, we had so many issues with the score keeping the time because the internet. He's like, what it was tax. We learned that with the Silver Beach Festival. We literally shut down the internet and nothing would work because we had so many people on the system at the same time. Have y'all seen that, or have y'all done anything because I hear we're gonna have a massive crowd this Friday too.
So there's a little bit of if you're talking about our stadium specifically, there's a little bit of work still happening out there, including some additional access points that are going in. There's access points going in at all the gates.
Awesome.
There's access point going in, I think, at the visitor picnic area. And then there's going to be a few more. If we identify spots, we'll continue to add them. Same with some of the security stuff. We're continuing. It's just not 100%.
Gotcha. They're on the 4th floor. He's up there with Coach Richburg, and there was 2 or 3 officials up there. And his specific job, I think he's one of the head of his crew, but he keeps the time, the official time. And
Okay.
I didn't notice it you guys did. But he said they kept having issues with it, and it was glitching because of the internet.
We'll take a look at it.
So I guess,
I'll take a look at it.
yeah. Again, I know that was obviously that was our first time we've ever used that stadium, and so the fact we had as little issues as we did, you guys did a great. You and Dr. Martinez and the whole team did a great job of that. So thank y'all again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
All right, guys. No more questions. We will now switch to administrative report regarding our budget and finance update. Our CEO, Ms. Stacey McDowell. Before we like to welcome Trustee Russell Shoppy. It's kind of if you didn't know, he works for that other district and he's a coach, and so he's very busy this time of year. And when he got on the board, we made a rule that he has to shower before he can come back into LaPorte. So thank you for doing that.
Blessing that I did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So good evening, Board of Trustees and Dr. Jackson. Tonight I will be providing a financial update for the Porte ISD. We have 5 different topics that we're going to discuss. So first is going to be the fiscal year 2025 estimated ending budget, fiscal year 2026 amended budget, our tax rate and homeowner impact, and then we'll talk about property valuations and also our enrollment trends for the district. So to begin with, our fiscal year 2025 estimated ending budget. The fiscal year ended June 30th. However, we are still estimated because we are about to go into an audit. Everything is still closing down. And so until we get the audit, which will be in November, will be presented to you, everything is still an estimate until it's finalized with the audit. So if you can see the adopted budget that y'all adopted in June of 24, we had an impact of $12.6 million of a deficit to the fund balance, meaning we thought we would end at $48.7 million. But what our estimated actuals right now is that the impact is going from 12.6 down to 5.7. So that's a $6.9 million of savings, and I'll discuss that in a second. But we're estimated to end our fund balance at $55.7 million. So what makes up that difference? And why is it such a big jump? So some of the reasons are, we have for our budget, you adopted in June, but we truly don't have the finalized information, as I just said. Different things happen, payroll comes and goes throughout. We have to account for that, and then also invoices that we might not be expecting. We do our very best to make sure that we have everything encumbered, we have everything coming, but you just truly never know. Also, we always want to budget conservatively because part of our audit is they look at our budget and they look at each function, because y'all adopt a budget at the function level, instruction, library, so forth and so on. So if one of those line items, one of those function lines is over budget, meaning we did not account for enough money for that function, that can lead to a finding. And so we like to pad a little bit to be conservative, because we do not want a finding in our audit, because it impacts our school first rating, and as you will find out in November, we have a 98, so we're very proud about that. So, and that school's first rating matters greatly to our credit rating. It touches so many different things. And then just timing. As I said, our fiscal year ends June 30th, but if something has been encumbered, meaning someone has created a requisition, but those goods did not come in by June 30th, that's coming in out of the next year's fiscal year. So that adds money back into our balance at the end of the fiscal year. So it'll be coming out in the next year, but we have a deadline of June 30th. Where were we financially at June 30th? So those are the big reasons of why you will see a jump, and why we budget so conservatively. Yes, ma'am.
Also, isn't the way the TEA will settle up with us at the end of the year, like maybe what we projected our enrollment to be versus our Robin Hood payment and all that kind of stuff, they settle up after we've already decided our budget.
Yes, ma'am. In fact, we don't even know, I'm waiting right now for TA to give me what my first preliminary final is. We're just, we're still in the preliminary, we're not even near final yet. But we should be getting it any day, and you're exactly right, because they take what our summer submission that we did back in June, they process that, so that has all of our ADA, that has all of our student information, all of our staffing information, everything goes to TA. Of course, they're processing 1,100 districts, so it takes a minute. And also, because of the legislation, they're rebuilding what our summary of finance looks like for the next year. So they have a lot going on at TA. I'm not always, I will give them that. They have a lot on their plate right now. So yes, thank you for bringing that up. It does impact how much revenue. There is a settle up, and we haven't even gotten what that settle up is, and it's September 9th. So I'm going to go on. So what does that change mean, the deficit? So as I said, it's a change in deficit of $6.9 million. So it means that we can hold off on making hard financial decisions because we're able to rely on our fund balance, because it's still at a 55.7 estimated. It means that we're using less of the reserves that we have, which are our fund balance, that we originally budgeted for, because we are very conservative of how we spend those funds. We're always looking for ways to find a better use for the funds, and really look at what we are spending our money on, and are we getting the biggest bang for the buck to the biggest group of constituents, students and teachers. And it also means that our tax revenue and our state funding cannot pay for our expenses. As we know, we paid $35 million in recapture this year, and we're budgeted to pay another $43 million in recapture for next year. So we're giving that away, but we still are not getting enough funding to pay for our expenses. So let's look at what our amended budget, and I say amended because part of your what we're going to bring to you for approval is our first budget amendment for the year. And so as you see, your adopted budget is there. We have $8.2 million deficit is what you adopted this past June. But the amended budget, that's part of what the budget amendment is going to, if you approve that, then it will become this. So it actually, what that budget amendment is taking some of our 89th legislative funding changes that we know of, and as you can see, I've listed some up here. Our $55 we got in additional WADA. It's not even $1 million. It's not even $750,000. Teacher retention allotment, we expect to get that $2 million back for that. That's the $2,500, $5,000 that they're going to pay for that. Insurance allotment, we don't even know yet. Like we know we're one of the districts, but they haven't told us how much. So that's, I can't change that. I can't do an amendment for that yet. Right. Our homestead exemption, going from 100,000 to 140, if that's passed in November, we're told it's going to hold us harmless, but I don't really know yet. I haven't seen anything where it truly says that. And then I don't know how much we're going to get in fine arts and school safety allotment. I know we're going to get something, but they haven't really told us yet. So what I do know, I've put into the budget amendment, and as I said here, that's the first amendment of the year, and it will decrease our deficit by about $600,000. So we're moving in the right direction, and it will gradually continue to decrease. I just can't tell you that yet. Okay, we're going to move on to our tax rate. So what I have in front of you here is the past 8 years of our tax rate for LaPorte ISD. And so you can see in the 2018-19 timeframe, it was $1.38. And now what we are going to ask to propose with an action item for resolution 2025-11, which is the tax rate adoption proposal. We're asking that you would adopt a tax rate of 1.0641. So in those 8 years, it would have decreased our tax rate for the district, for the community, by almost 32 cents. And so how does that impact a homeowner? So I'm going to show you two different scenarios, one at a $200,000 house and then one at a $350,000 house. So, and I apologize for all the numbers up here, but let me just kind of walk you through 1 year, and then it's the same for all. So let's just look at 2019. So in 2019, that's the first column that you have there. Your total tax rate was $1.38 on a house that's appraised at a tax appraisal value of $200,000. So LaPorte ISD gives an optional district tax exemption. Not all districts do that. That is I'm not going to say it's a gift, but it's something that we feel is important for our community because we live in the community. That's something that impacts our homeowners. So 20%, they get 20% off additional homestead. So for a $200,000 house, that's $40,000. At the time in 2019, the homestead exemption was $40,000. So the net taxable value of that house, your 200,000 minus 40 minus 40 gives you 120. So the tax impact for at that time, how much they paid in school district taxes was right around $1,600. So then you move over to 2023 to 24. That was the 88th legislation where they increased the homeowners exemption from 40 to 100,000. So they increased it $60,000. And then depending on a November vote, which I think we all agree that it's most likely going to pass, our homestead exemption will also increase from 100,000 to 140. So now let's look at 2026. So for the same property valuation of a $200,000 home, they still get the optional exemption of $40,000, but now their homestead exemption is $140,000. So now their taxable value of their home is under $20,000. So they're only going to pay $213 in taxes to the district. So you can see the line graph here where it's from 2019 to 2026, it has decreased $1,400, their taxes. And just from last year to this year, it'll decrease $372. So that's just walking through a $200,000. I'm also giving you what a $350,000 home looks like. I won't walk it through with you again. It's the same calculations as before, but I do want to point out that the tax decrease from 2019 to 2026 is over $1,800 for a homeowner that has a $350,000 home. And just from last year to this year, it's going to be a decrease of $263 on their taxes that they pay. Yes, ma'am.
Just from advocacy standpoint, and I'm sure most everybody on the board knows this, but for the people that are watching, the 20% tax exemption that the district grants to all of our homeowners, legislators do not like to hear that we don't think we're fully funded, because they think if we can offer that, then we're rich. You know what I mean? So they have oftentimes beat the drum to us that quit offering that, and you have plenty of money in your, your general fund because you're offering this. But we have always felt as a board that that was, we could afford to do that. It was a good faith thing for our community. And I'm not saying that we should stop it. I'm just saying it's hard to complain about Robin Hood and all these other things when you're advocating, because they know this. When we walk in the door, they think we've got money bags on us on the side, and they know that we offer that additional tax exemption to our taxpayers. So, there's that.
So I'm going to move on to property valuation.
I had jumped on ahead, so, on the historical view, like the tax rates, I know I'm not gonna opinion on like exact numbers, but like, aren't we pretty close to like the lowest
Yes, sir.
Anywhere around?
Last year, we were, I think, the second lowest. I will give that to you tomorrow. I will send you what it was last year. I can't tell you what it is going to be for this year because everyone is adopting their tax rates right now.
Who were we behind last year?
I don't,
friends with.
I will have that to the board tomorrow, where we stood. In fact, I have it, I will email it, it's on my computer.
I knew kind of answer this. I think it's just an important point that
Yes.
in good faith, like we've had some really good years. We had a great run, and we decided, we knew that we were going to have a difficult stretch, right? And you guys have done a phenomenal job, as you just indicated, of bridging those gaps of what we thought the budget would be and where we're going to end up. But it's kind of contentious on here to like, it seems counter to common sense that we would cut that rate as much as we did, and in spite of that, we're still succeeding. And again, before we have to vote on it tonight, but the people in our town are still coming out ahead. We have to run this. We've had multi-million-dollar deficit budgets multiple years in a row now,
Yes.
so it makes 0 sense. And this is my opinion of why would we not do this? It's not. I mean, it's nobody wants to raise taxes, but this is something that like we have to do to keep it competitive. We want to keep our people more than anything, right?
Right.
And so.
And
How can you
that-
not make the case that this makes sense if you're
Yes, sir.
saying that they're still coming out ahead where we were last year with additional homestead exemptions and things like that? So,
Yes, sir. Well, and to make a point that, and to continue on with your point, those hard decisions, remember, our payroll was 86% of our budget.
Right.
So when you talk about a hard decision, you're talking about people. So I'm going to move on to property valuation now. Okay. So property valuation, this also is we're going to ask the board to adopt resolution 2025-12 tonight for the certified appraisal roll that we received from Harris County and from Chambers County. But I just wanted to give you the past 4 years and kind of walk you through it. So as you can see, these are in billions of dollars. So when you have your appraised value versus your taxable value, the difference is your exemptions. And so as you can see from 23, 24, that's when, the exemptions increased greatly because that's when it went from 40,000 to 100,000 homestead exemption. And then you do see from 24 to 25 that taxable value actually decreased a little bit. And that was because of property valuation protests that, people protest their values. Companies protest their values. And so all of that kind of comes, it all rolled together and it hit in 25. So our taxable value amounts were less. And then in 2026, these are the numbers that we're going to ask that you certify that we received from the tax assessors. So Our current appraised value is 19.6 billion, but our taxable value is right at 14.5. And then just the graph here, I just wanted to show you that you know, I'm a visual person. I like to see that helps me. So you just kind of see the exemptions steadily climb because that's what our legislation is bringing to our homeowners. Okay. Our last topic is going to be enrollment trends. So on this one, I'm going to give you the past 7 years. Well, 6 from 2020 to 2025. Those are final numbers. Those are what was submitted to PEEMS, and so that's where we stand. 2026 is as of yesterday, so that number is going to change. You know, daily it changes, and I'm sure the principals right now are looking at this like, that's not my number, but I had to create a program. I had to create a presentation at a certain point, so yesterday was my cutoff day. But I do want you to, I just want to point out, you know, we are, for 2026, we take a snapshot day for our PEEMS, and so that's actually on Halloween this year. And that number, I know, that number of however many students we have enrolled at that time, that's truly the number that we're going to be working on throughout this year until we do our summer submission and finalize the year. But so from 25-26, we decreased 135 students so far. 121 from elementary, 14 from secondary, and then also from 2020 to 2026. So we are down 252 students. So 250 from elementary and 2 from secondary. So you know, these numbers are fleeting. They're moving back and forth. We are hopeful. We're doing everything we possibly can to bring us back to what we were last year. That's where we feel really comfortable. But again, enrollment, it matters, but matters also, and even more, is attendance, because we're paid on WADA, we're not paid on enrollment. And so I know that our team is working on an attendance program and incentive, you know, just to, it's not just important for funding, it's important for the students to be in class. So that is my presentation, and I will be happy to answer any questions. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. Our last administrative report, Dr. Martinez with the bond safety and security update.
So good evening, board, President Martin, trustees. So we are going to just give you a quick update on where we are. So I think Brad did a good job of just kind of showing where we are with the stadium and legacy complex at this point. You know, it's operational, we're hosting games, it's exciting, but we're still fine-tuning some things, right? So that's where we are with our stadium. You know, like he mentioned, the wireless signals, we're installing some additional access points for that. And just like our controls and certain things like play clocks not talking to each other, and then, you know, getting access in certain areas for wireless. And so, you know, that's just where we are with a lot of those, with those two massive facilities. So I wanted to focus more this evening on where we are with the high school and then Lomax Junior High. And so with the high school, you have these dates. These are things that obviously you've been involved in, you know, getting us to this point. We are right now in that duration period, right? So that 12 months to substantial completion for the high school. Specifically within the next 4 weeks, something that we're going to start seeing is the infill and the select fill and concrete and sidewalks in that courtyard area. That's a huge project for us, and that's very time consuming. And so that's approximately 41,000 square feet of detention that we're you know, adding in that courtyard area. And so these next, again, like I said, next 4 weeks, you're going to start seeing some of that. And then once we're done with the select fill, we're going to move to the actual rock and AstroTurf, which will be exciting to actually see that going in. So very, like I said, extensive process. Building A and F, so that just has to do the way we see it on the drawings. So A would be the area near the library. F would be kind of that tunnel where kids are still able to access the building to stay inside to go to the cafeteria. Those are the sections of that building, so I don't want you to be thrown off because that's not what we call those areas, but that's just how they're listed on the drawings. And then the courtyard, you see just the various stages of the detention. So you've got the excavation, then you've got the detention crates and the rock, and then the rendering just shows kind of the final product there where you'll see the AstroTurf. But again, a lot of work that goes into that, geofabric, just a lot involved in that process. But again, just think of what some of the drainage issues that we've had in the past historically in that building. Feel like we're going to be in a very great spot with the 41,000 square feet of additional detention in that area. I wanted to also just kind of call attention where we are with Lomax Junior High right now. And so I know some of you all had an opportunity to visit the campus, the site, to kind of see where that was. We actually had a team of our maintenance employees that were able to go today, our foreman, to really look at the MEP. We were able to get upstairs on the second floor where the air handlers and kind of that area, and just kind of see where we are in regard to those projects. Our chiller is installed. We're looking at permanent air going into that building next week as far as the gymnasium, band and orchestra areas. And then the hardwood, so it's exciting that we're actually going to have the court. The installation should start, after we get that permanent air. So Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, we should be able to actually start moving some of that hardwood court into that space to get that going. So again, just a great project moving right along. Some of these pictures are very recent. We're finalizing the masonry, so that exterior brick is about 95% complete. There's only one small section to the left of the front entry that isn't completed yet. And so again, we were out there today. One of the reasons, I know Jessica, Ms. Rose, Principal Rose, has had a lot of success with the contractors out there. They've been very accommodating. They start at 6:30 in the morning, so they're able to start before the arrival happens, and then most of the time they're out before dismissal. So they've been able to put in a full work day, so it really doesn't interfere with the campus. And one of the things that we're that's going really well out there is the masonry. So they're already ahead of schedule, and will be finished, like I said, probably by the end of this week. That will be wrapped up. So exciting there. Just some other things that are happening in the gymnasium. Waterproofing, you kind of saw from that curtain wall some areas that are being waterproofed there. Roof and beams are being painted. Our gyp boards are being installed in the restrooms, custodial and IDF rooms. The chiller's been set. That's a sight to see. That was our maintenance guys standing around looking at that chiller there. They were all impressed with the magnitude of that. Again, just a lot of good work happening in that space. And then the orchestra and band, you all were able to see some of that space. It's just a beautiful space, and we're at the point where they're just kind of finalizing and touching up in some of those areas, painting, but the gyp board again was being installed in those areas. So at this time, I guess let me pause right here. So are any questions related to kind of bond projects? Because we're gonna go into a safety and security update. I'm gonna invite Mr. Whitcliffe to come up here and talk. But are there any questions related to kind of where we're at with bond?
When that air goes on in the gymnasium, is it going to stay on continuously until completion of everything and not turn? Because I know we turn the air off during times and stuff, but that court needs to
correct. Yeah.
make sure it cures.
Sure. Absolutely.
And doesn't mess it up and stuff.
Right. Yeah. That's the goal, is for continuous. Once it gets to a point where it's fully set, then we'll be able to run that for a while. So to take care of this precious commodity right there, the court, for sure.
It looks good. I played over there and got beat pretty good.
Yes.
When I was getting beat, I was looking at the thing. That's nice up there.
Yeah. Beautiful facility. Absolutely. All right.
There's always a silver lining.
Yes, there is.
So I'm going to ask Mr. Whitcliffe, he's our Director of Alternative Education and Student Services, to come up and just kind of give you guys some security updates. Mr. Whitcliffe.
Greetings, Superintendent Dr. Jackson, President Martin, and distinguished school board. First and foremost, I'd like to tell you guys thank you for allowing me to continue to keep this district safe along with Dr. Martinez and his team, and also to be a proud dragon at DeWalt. So I appreciate you guys allowing me to have this dual role. One thing I'd like to say about LaPorte is we stay on the forefront of safety. We have been the first district statewide to be a Region 4 certified district. In addition to that, now this year, we've also been Harris County Department of Education Safe District and Participation Award, and we received that award 3 years in a row, and so we just received our statues for that. And so I'm proud of that. This district continues to put safety first. Also, I want to let you guys know that we have a lot of preparation for September and October because we're going to have a lot of audits. And so for September, we're prepping our assistant principals and principals to make sure that they know what their EOC and EOP plans are. In addition to that, how to work Sentinel, and to do all our protocols when it comes to door sweeps and repairs, logs, and things of that nature. This year, we went live with the Sentinel program, the software, is where we upload everything to the TA database, and this is the first year that we've done it, and most districts as well are doing it. And our assistant principal is doing a good job of doing those uploads each week. We've also completed our SSP reports. This is a report for behavior threat assessments. And so all of our behavior threat assessment teams have been trained and certified, and all of our submissions have been uploaded this summer to TA, and we're cleared as a district. And also what's on the horizon right now is our emergency operation plan. And the start date was September. But it's due October 2nd, and we're almost complete with that. It's a massive project, but we're moving along very well with that plan. Okay, as far as facilities, safety and compliance checks, we're in the process of reviewing our cameras. Again, like I stated before, we have a lot of audits that's going to come our way in October, and I'll give you guys those dates in a little bit. But one of the focuses that we will have will be the Legacy Center, the CTE barn, and we just want to make sure that we pay attention to our fencing, and we'll get to that a little bit. But some of the phase 3 audits that we're going to have is 3 elementary schools, which would be Jenny Reed, Rizzuto, Lomax Elementary, and then 1 middle school, LaPorte Junior High, and then 2 support facilities, the athletic complex and support services, with an emphasis on the CTE barn. And so we've been prepping for that visit as well. It's going to be in late October, and I've already worked with Ms. Baker and the CTE coordinator to kind of sort of make sure we walk to make sure that the cameras are working for the animals. In addition to that, that the certificates are up to date, and in addition to that, our fire extinguishers are coded as well. So remember, we just want to make sure that our cameras are working well, that the lighting is working well, especially around the stadium. And again, that barn, gym, safety equipment, those are some of the things that we're really going to focus on. In addition to that, training for the staff is important. So each year we really focus on Stop the Bleed, CPR, awareness campaigns, and in addition we put out the playbook this year. And so we're going to start our PD training for the playbook, and it's going to be offered. Our course selections have already been uploaded into Eduphoria and Strive, and so teachers can now start signing up for those PD sessions that will start. And we're really excited about that, and hats off to Ms. Abram and Chandler, who helped out along with Dr. Martinez to get that playbook rolling. All right, communication and coordination. We're going to start working with Johnny Morales and his team for a reunification plan. And so we're looking at using San Jack as a site. And so we've visited the site with Sergeant Larkey and his team. And in addition to that, we just want to see if that's a better space. And so that's one of the things we're evaluating right now. So it's a big partnership with our law enforcement, and I love what Sergeant Larkey and his team are doing to keep us safe as well, and our SROs. All right, district fencing enhancements. So one thing we talked about was making sure that we're in compliance, and all our fences in Porte ISD are in compliance in regards to TEA. We've passed all of our audits last year 100%. And so the only thing we want to just assure you guys is that we're doing our best to make sure that they're unified, that they, meet state standards, that the fencing is composed of black steel, anti-scaling, and meet the 8 feet height requirements. And we do have our secure vegetables at each campus. All right, and I think last but not least is our important safety dates. I'm really excited about the safety fair that's going to take place this Saturday. Well, I'll go backwards. I'm excited about the football game on Friday. And then I'm excited about the safety fair in the morning, and then I'm also excited about the gala that we'll all go and support that night as well. And so our first safety committee meeting is going to be at the ITC September 15th. And then we have our LPAC annual shelter-in-place exercise. We're currently trying to figure out what's going to be the best date that's not going to disrupt our campuses, but at the same time align ourselves with the city. And then that's about it. So do you guys have any questions?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
On the possible changing of the reunification site,
Yes, ma'am.
are we talking with Harris County about that due to the traffic problems on Fairmont Parkway?
We are talking with Harris County, and we're meeting with Janice Olabi. She's the one who does our audits. We're also working with Mr. Morales with the city. And so what we're doing right now is we're coming up with a plan. We're looking at a revision that we did before. And so it's in the process, and once we get that completed, in the stance where I can get it to Dr. Martinez, we can give you guys more clarifying information on it.
Well, I don't think we need to know every detail of that, because I don't think the public needs to know every detail of that. But my concern is just traffic on Fairmont has not seemed to be a priority for Harris County to do anything about that very quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
And we could possibly put a bug in someone's ear. Maybe that would help move that up the priority list.
Yes, ma'am. And currently, the reunification site is the rodeo across the street. Yes, ma'am. Sure. Yes, ma'am. We'll definitely work on it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That's why we're trying to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whenever we talk about I don't really need an answer this second, but
Sure.
when we talk about the ag barn, I would like to know what kind of controls we have for the students coming in and out and the parents coming in and out of the facility, and then also coming in and out of the gates. You know, for a while, a gate was broken, then it was fixed, and then they were driving through the transportation building and access to our buses, and, are the doors locked to get into where the actual animals are?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
They aren't locked, but you can coming in and out of there. So there's some things like that I think we should work on.
Yes, sir. And we created a checklist. I think Ms. Baker and I actually walked the facility last month, and we did do a lot of checks on the fence and the gates and the doors. But once we do our second sweep, we'll get you guys more definitive answers. And we obviously have to make those corrections before October.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank you, Board. Ms. Wycliffe, Dr. Martinez, we certainly appreciate the job you're doing, certainly the bond money, but more importantly with the safety. I know that's every job in this district's hard, but that one's continually changing, and you guys have to stand up on a lot of things, and so we appreciate the job you and your teams are doing, for sure. And thank you for giving us an update. All right, guys, without further ado, we'll turn to item 8, our consent agenda. A, determine and approve any consent agenda items. B, approve board meeting minutes, regular board meeting minutes, August 19th, 2025. C, receive principal's report, 1, Early Childhood Center, 2, Bayshore Elementary, 3, College Park Elementary, 4, Heritage Elementary, 5, Jenny Reed Elementary, 6, LaPorte Elementary, 7, Leo A. Rizzuto Elementary, 8, Lomax Elementary, 9, James H. Baker 6th grade campus, 10, LaPorte Junior High, 11, Lomax Junior High, 12, LaPorte High School.
Can we pull LaPorte High School, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
13, this is so much fun when you have dry mouth. 13, Viola DeWalt High School. D, receive financial reports for July 2025. E, receive human resources report. F, receive notice of employment of professional staff. G, receive and first reading of policy CFB local. H, approve budget amendment. I, approve purchase of lighting for Sonia Angelo Theater. 6, approve purchase of white fleet vehicles for maintenance department. K, adopt a resolution number 2025-10 to declare extracurricular status of 4-H and approve appointment of Harris County Extension agents as adjunct facility for purpose of supervising LPISD students participating in designated 4-H activities. Mr. Vice President, will you please read the slate of items?
Yes, A, B, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K.
What about
Board,
C?
you want to?
Should it be C through 1 through 11 and 13?
Yes,
C 1 through 11 and 13.
you got it.
You want to read the whole thing?
I do not want to redo the whole thing.
All right, Board, I seek a motion for the consent items as read. It's motion by Russell Shopping, seconded by Danny Hanks. Board, please vote.
See how it goes.
Everything worked. Oh, it's working.
Boom.
Looky there.
I swear I'm in the button.
Awesome.
There we go. All right, the unanimous yes vote. Thank you, guys. All right,
C12.
we'll go back to item C12, Laporte High School.
Okay, my reason for pulling this is twofold. Dr. Griffin, I have heard so many compliments from students' parents about yourself and your team of principals. And I wanted to say this publicly. What a great job you all do. And I do have one question about your report. Looking at the enrollment for ACE and for dual language, it looks like on our report, like that number got cut off. I'm sorry, dual credit. It looks like the numbers didn't get copied onto our thing. Can you maybe email that to us?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
No problem. We'll get that.
Do we have approximately 69 or 70 kids in ACE?
That is correct. Yes, ma'am.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah, so it's a really good group this year. We're really
Okay.
excited.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Gotcha. All right, without any further questions, I seek a motion for item C12.
Second.
We have a motion from trustee Hanks and a second from Mason Harris. All those in favor, please vote.
Oh, wait, it didn't clear.
It didn't clear.
Clear.
It's going to be the same.
No. Somebody else.
Anybody says otherwise, okay, good.
There we go.
Okay, so I
All
can't
right,
raise
it's
your
unanimous vote. Thank you, guys.
I miss our
We'll
old
move now
board.
to item 9, I'm looking at action and our discussion items. A, adopt a resolution number 2025-11 for the tax rate adoption. And these need to be handled separately, right?
So good evening again, Board of Trustees and Dr. Jackson. Tonight, we ask the board to take action to adopt resolution number 2025-11 for the 2025 property tax rate of $1.0641 per 100 of assessed valuation of LaPorte ISD. This includes the .12 disaster rate that is available to the district without an election due to the disaster declaration issued by Governor Abbott due to the Hurricane Beryl that hit our area in July of 2024. The tax rate would be made of 0.8022 for maintenance and operation and 0.2619 for debt service. Happy to answer any questions.
We have any questions from the board? If not, I seek a motion. Motion by trustee Hanks, second by trustee Crutcher. If there are no questions or comments, we will vote. All right, thank you, board. The motion passes 6-0-1. Thank you. All right, we'll now go to item B, adopt a resolution number 2025-12 for the certified appraisal tax roll.
Yes, sir. Okay, so again, we ask the board to take action to adopt resolution number 2025-12 for the 2025 certified tax rolls provided by Harris County and Chambers County tax assessors. The total certified appraised valuation for both counties is $19,618,231,200. The total certified taxable value for both counties is, $14,575,111,365. I had to write that out. Yes, sir. Any
Questions from the board? No questions, that we can get a motion? We have a motion from trustee Thompson and a second from trustee Paris. Please vote. It is a unanimous vote.
Thank you very
In the
much.
affirmative. Thank you. All right, guys, almost done. Go to item 10, action on closed session items. There are none. Lastly, we'll move to item 11, closing comments for the Board of Trustees and Superintendent. A, attendance at recent district and community events. B, announcement of upcoming district and community events. And C, outstanding performance by district staff and students. We'll start with Mr. Shoppy.
Well, 32 years I've worked at Jeff's favorite district, second favorite district, I should say. And it's really, really, really hard sometimes, and y'all don't understand that I have to be quiet, I have to mind my, but sitting in that stadium that night was fun. Having Father Euster from St. Mary's sitting there cheering for the Bulldogs was even better. And what's even best is when you're getting texts from everybody and seeing that the homers on the LaPorte Sports Net are two homers. They're all from Port. Well, no doubt, I wouldn't have anybody other than them doing that out there. So it was just great. It was awesome. I may get in trouble if anybody's watching this, but you know what? I stay in trouble, and I'm just going to live in trouble. So be it. It was great, and I can't say any more about it.
Yeah, I know, sorry. You know, the thing about the stadium, I know it's all in the press and it's in the forefront of everybody's conversations these days, but really, I hope everybody looks beyond what the stadium and see from what it represents, and it's an idea. There's a spirit. It's not brick and mortar. It's the people that make it up and bring it to life every day, and that's what's inspiring. That's what's exciting, because there's a rekindled spirit that had gone to sleep for a little while, and you know that stadium's been a long, long time coming. But what it represents is far greater than the value of that property, and I hope people feel that way when they step on the property and to see it. Every walk of life from every corner in this community is represented in that venue, and it is truly, truly remarkable to see. I do want to encourage everybody cross country. The LaPorte Invitational is Friday at Northwest Park. That group is out running before the sun comes up. They're inspiring and way better than I ever would be. But thank you to everybody for a great start. I do want to reiterate, Dr. Griffin, hear wonderful, wonderful things come out of LaPorte High School, so keep up the good work over there. So
I love seeing all the campus posts about all the great things happening everywhere. So y'all keep it up, because just seeing those kiddos doing their thing, learning and having fun and enjoying learning. I love seeing that. I do have to give some special recognition to LPJ right now, because I had a son there several years back, and I love seeing what's happening there. I love seeing what is going on. Coach Mack, I need you to teach my fellow board members here about change makers. Y'all need to learn the chant, because all the great things that are happening, it's so exciting to see that firsthand and to have a child there actually getting to experience that as well. But just, again, I hear from other parents, I hear from students themselves, they are really, really proud to be Bullpups. And I appreciate your leadership over there and just kind of reigniting what we know is possible. But actually seeing it firsthand as a parent on that campus is really awesome, because, it was a moment for me as a mom previously that there were great things happening, but there are really amazing things happening now. So thank you.
Karen?
Well, of course, everything that Danny said about the new stadium is absolutely true. It's just such a cool environment. It's how it used to be, y'all, back in the 70s when we first really got to be good.
I wouldn't know.
But anyway, everybody's working so hard, and I just know it's just going to keep getting better and better. The only other thing I would say is I want to congratulate all of you. It seems like the cell phone issue has managed to be not as big of a deal as I'm sure y'all are dealing with little things on campus. But the beauty of it is we're not seeing the posts on Facebook about how awful this is and how, you know, everybody's just going to fall over and die because they can't call their kid every 5 minutes. So I think it's wonderful the way it's been handled. Our parents have been very receptive, and I congratulate the parents on that because I know something that we're used to, and we feel like we should still be able to do it. So thank you all, because I know that wasn't easy, and it's still not easy.
When you're this far down in the road, everybody's already said some things you wanted to say, so I'll skip over several things. But I will say, there's something about a Friday night in a small town. There's just something about that spirit. From the choir singing the national anthem, to the ROTC bringing out the flag, to the LP Sportsnet kids that are down there filming, to, you know, the band, the Chatos, the cheerleaders, and of course the football players and the coaches. But I see a lot of your faces every Friday night too, whether you're working or volunteering. I know y'all are there. We see you. We know. And you've already had a long week and a long day, and you're still there, supporting kids that may have been at your campus before or whatever. And that means a lot to what our community and our family culture is here at LaPorte. So the start of school seems to have gone relatively smooth for all of you. I mean, maybe you don't feel that way, but we haven't heard a lot of stuff, so things must be going well, and I look forward to visiting some of the libraries soon to see some of those amazing books that we have. That's it.
I think Dan looked at my list of things I was going to use as a closing comment because I'm out of things to talk about too. But I will still continue on. I did want to thank, I don't want to use the word ancillary, but all the staff members who are working these games on Friday nights. I mean, you think about how many people are touching the stadium, and you know, from ticket takers to working the elevator. I mean, there's just so many different jobs and roles that night, and it's all seemed to go relatively smooth. I am upset I didn't get an invite to the barbecue cookout at LaPorte Junior High today, but you know, I should have just showed up to the game, so that's my fault. And I want to give a shout out to transportation. No real reason. I just like transportation, and I think that the job is very hard, and there's a lot of logistics going on there. And I know a lot of schools had a very, very rough start. A lot of districts had a very, very rough start with their transportation this year, safety-wise, tragically, and just logistically-wise. And I think we did a great job from what I'm hearing. So kudos there, and that's it.
Dr. Jackson, was anything?
Everything that the board is saying and has shared happens because of the people that are sitting out there supporting the teachers that are in those classrooms. So I will say one more time with feeling, this does not happen by accident. There's a lot of hard work, a lot of strategy, and a lot of folks that are working, 15, 16, 17 hours a day. And so while I love everyone in this school district, I have to throw my hat off to those principals and those directors and those deputy superintendents and assistants and all of those folks that are out there making it happen, because you're leading the charge. There are people that are making it happen with you, but you're leading that charge. So thank you for your leadership.
I'll tie into that. That's kind of what I want to start with. I'll admit that when Dr. Jackson came in, he said, it's a great day to be. I'm just a weird guy. I'm not it's like a negative. It's not that, but I can't lead a pep rally. You're out there. It's a great day to be a Bulldog. I'm like, yeah. It is a great day, but it just took a while, right? And all of a sudden now, last year I started to see, you're out there pushing that. And what's amazing that you're guy leading that, but now, it doesn't matter what campus it is. It's you go in there, you got principals walking the hallways with big speakers and giving high fives and fist pumps to kids between classes. The kids are excited. They're not lingering in the halls. They're getting to their class. You're not having fights. It's just the culture we got schools where they have, school shirts with Bible verses on the back of them. I mean, I go on and on and on about all these like great things. Like the culture it's not semantic. It truly is changing for the better. Not that it was bad, but there's this massive positive vibe. It's never going to be perfect. We know that. But like, I'm just so proud. Like, again, it's not just admin. It's not just one school. It is across the district. You're seeing it. Like, if you spend any time on any campus, you're going to see the culture. And I just think that's somebody that grew up here, that has kids here, a wife that works in the district, man, that I'm proud of that. I'm not gonna lie to you, I grew up with a healthy hatred of Deer Park, and so seeing like, it's always been like, we're second tier, right? We're the little brother, and so beating them, I know it's dumb, but like, it brought joy because
It brought me joy too.
it really did. But the coolest thing about it was, for me, is you guys know in this room, but a lot of people don't know, like, the work that goes on to put on any event, but like that had like 100 different components of it, and the years that it took to get to that, and especially that week of all the stuff going on. And again, it's not perfect, but it was pretty awesome. And after the game, to see Coach Bernathy, like, he acted like a 5-year-old. Like, he was so excited, like weights off his shoulders. That was, to me, was the coolest thing. And then our kids getting interviewed by Randy McAvoy. It was really cool. It's been a long time since we've had that in our stadium, and so that was a really amazing thing for me. And then, so again, just thank you guys for all the people that helped to make that happen. Coach Mack, I gotta admit, I really struggled coming to the meeting tonight because my son's first away game, but they came back and I keep getting pictures from that cookout, and they said literally, it's like, this is so impressive. They're like, so again, we're hiring some great people, Coach Montalvo, his team, that are going in there, and they really, like, what I love most, again, we want to win, and we joke about being Deer Park, but man, like, building up people, men and women of character is amazing. Like, everybody talks about it, but like, I'm telling you, not like we say things and like speak into existence. What I'm trying to say is that, like, I think you've done a phenomenal job setting the tone, and we're speaking to existence. But now it's not just words. I can honestly see, like, easily see, like, clarity. Like, the culture is amazing. So thank you guys for making that happen. I will shut up. We will now adjourn at 8:31. Yes, ma'am.
I'm so sorry. I was unfortunately not able to make it here at the beginning of the meeting, but I did have a very large concern that I'd like to bring before the board. If y'all are willing to listen.
So a positive.
Because it has to do with potential coercion.
I'll tell you what. So again, we sincerely appreciate. We're strict. We're very. Our attorney's here, so he's saying we can't do it tonight. But if you can please visit with Dr. Jackson, and then certainly if you want to bring it up we need to address it to the board next time, please come and speak to us publicly. But Dr. Jackson and the team will get with you tonight, if that's okay. Thank you, ma'am. We will adjourn at 8:31.